Good morning, Jody Hamilton. I am indeed knocking at the door, and I'm not using my hand.
Hi, Charles Louise
no,
here.
no,
Of my house now. Get out.
Hey, happy Mardi Gras, everybody!
Happy Mardi Gras!
Today's Mardi Gras.
Hi.
Sweet.
Where's our hurricane punch? Hello. Hi.
Yeah, you need to get one of those things from Pat O'Brien's that make you throw up on the sidewalk.
There you go. One of those long daiquiri things.
Yeah.
By the way, you tweeted, I find it interesting Putin and Russia have had so little to say about Kazakhstan not wanting to join the fund. They know that the around and find out dynamic with the Kazakhs is not healthy.
Yeah.
Kazakhstan told them to suck it. I mean,
Yep.
Wow, you're not borrowing our army.
right. Right. I mean,
Yeah, he's losing the support of his fellow dictators. That should tell him something.
Yeah. I mean, he's a pariah like Kim Jong Un now, or Kim Jong. And who else am I thinking of? Who's the other dictator? For God's sake, Syria. Help me, help mommy.
Bashir.
Oh, Erdogan.
Assad. Yeah, I
No,
mean,
not
but I mean,
Turkey.
Bashir.
Assad. Yes,
Assad.
but the fact that he's personally sanctioned like this, I mean, Charlie, I don't know what's going to happen here. This certainly looks ominous. These line of tanks, but man, has Putin miscalculated. What is the way out now
and
for
the
him?
other thing is, the guy is 72 years old, and I don't care how many steroids he takes, or how often he, rides his horse, without a shirt. He's 72 years old. He's not going to last forever.
Yeah,
And if he were to keel over in the middle of this whole thing, I have no idea what would happen.
yeah.
I mean, I'm fairly sure it would stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, or should he be keeled? Right. The White House tweeted this coming week, we will launch multilateral transatlantic task force to identify, hunt down, freeze the assets of sanctioned Russian companies and oligarchs, their yachts, their mansions, any other ill-gotten gains we can find and freeze under the law. And you just said meaning business. Yeah. And the world has followed suit, right?
Hey, when the Swiss bankers turn against you,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
the Swiss bankers did happy business with the Nazis for decades, even after the war. But they don't have any stomach for this guy. I mean, it's
of all the
amazing.
smart things Hillary Clinton has said, she also is talking about crypto. When you think of all the things that she would have been on top of, were she, anyway. But you know what I mean, talking about like cutting off all of their ways to get out of this or hide, money or whatever, right?
Me, I don't get along. I don't get along with the whole crypto thing. I mean,
Yeah.
somebody walks up to me and says they've invented new money, and I should give them all of mine. I'm not falling for that.
So, this is way above my pay grade, sanctions, but the Treasury Department Monday moved to further cut off Russia from the global economy, announcing it would immobilize the Russian central bank assets that are being held in the U.S., imposed sanctions on Russian Direct Investment Fund, a sovereign fund that's run by a close ally of Putin's. The moves are meant to curb Russia's ability to use its war chest of international reserves to blunt the impact of sanctions that the U.S. and European allies have enacted. The move, the ruble has created, it's worth what, like a penny now,
Yeah.
the ruble? The stock market, have they opened it yet? The stock market? They can't do
Not
that
yet.
forever.
Not
They're
yet.
like, we're just not going to open it, right? The stock market. So, Charlie, what do you think the end game is here for Putin?
I think the end game is, a new Russian regime, an independent Ukraine, and a lot of like really bloody, awful scenes between the first and the,
yeah.
until we get to those two culminations. But it's hard to see. It's hard to see how any government survives this huge a blunder.
Yeah.
Much less a government where, defenestration is considered, proper political.
Yeah.
I forget which Russia expert said it yesterday, Charlie, but that exact thing. I don't see how Putin comes back from this.
No, I think he's. I think it's. Well, first of all, his economy was a basket case before he did this.
Right.
And as much as I understand the impulse, and I wrote this yesterday, the impulse to like blow up the convoy, and call in the strike fighters.
Yeah.
American troops and Russian troops cannot get into a conflict with each other.
Yeah.
It will not end with conventional weapons.
Yeah.
This
Well,
is a
Putin's
lesson
already threatening
I
it.
thought we all learned this lesson in the 60s.
Except, you know what I hate, Charlie, is just the bully nature of Putin. That, of course he's threatening nukes already, even though Ukraine doesn't have nukes and nobody's threatening him.
Right.
NATO's not threatening him. And it's I mean, that's what he wants, is for us to be scared that he's going to do it, that he's just crazy enough to do it.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
the people who, and I saw one general or another. I'm losing track of all the generals that are on TV. I think George McClellan was on there 10 minutes ago.
yeah,
But I think it was McCaffrey, who's done work. Anyway, this general who had done work in arms control said, all the Russians are not crazy.
yeah,
They know that, one nuke launched in the general vicinity of the United States or its ally, and you've got a glass parking lot.
Yeah.
And I think if he were to threaten that, that's when you would see a palace coup.
yeah. Well, yeah. Thank you for commenting on this. Just the headline: Ron Johnson blames Vindman, Pelosi, and Adam Schiff for weakening Ukraine with Trump's impeachment. And you just said, "Christ Jesus, Wisconsin, please." I mean, this guy doing Russian disinformation talking points about Ukraine for how long?
Yeah.
Spending 4th of July in Moscow
Yeah,
with Vladimir Putin.
right.
How did that not beat him the last time?
Yeah, and he wasn't
You
going to
know?
run, was he? And now he is.
Well, I don't know if I don't know if he's officially declared yet. He said he wasn't going to.
Right.
And then, all of a sudden, he got boosted by the crazy people. So now I'm not sure.
Yeah. Okay. Speaking of elections and elections mattering, oh, by the way, a trio of Republicans voted against the anti-lynching bill. Yeah, Andrew Clyde of Georgia, Thomas Massey of Kentucky, Chip Roy of Republican of Texas. But we tried to do the bill assuming Roe v. Wade's going to get overturned that would protect women. Joe
Right.
Manchin's the only Democrat that voted right
it died
against
in
the.
Senate.
Pardon me?
I love the talking point whenever you bring up doing away with the filibuster, where people say, it's a threat to the tradition of unlimited debate in the Senate. They just voted not to debate this.
Right.
Yeah.
They voted
Yeah.
against the bill.
The
They
women-
voted against not talking about it.
Yeah, the Women's Health Protection Act, critical legislation that would safeguard abortion rights across the country, failed to advance in the Senate on Monday. Every Republican and Joe Manchin voted against proceeding with the bill. You wrote about childhood poverty, which, millions of kids are back in poverty because Joe Manchin bought the wingnut cliches. You said the poverty rate for children in the U.S. has surged since monthly government checks from the expanded child tax credit ended in December. You do all the percentages there. It was also the extension of that was part of Build Back Better. Experts in child poverty did everything but hang pink neon from the Senate galleries to inform senators this exact thing would happen if the child tax credit were allowed to expire. And you just went back and recalled, Joe Manchin said, "Oh, people are going to use it for drugs or to go deer hunting."
Deer hunting, yeah.
Right. And you said somehow Manchin's own millions haven't blunted his work ethic, at least when it comes to knuckling the poor. I mean, we had cut childhood poverty in half. This was a no-brainer, right?
And the principle is basically, if you give poor people money, they will be less poor. This seems to have a sort of inherent internal logic that's undeniable.
Yeah. Yeah.
And their lives will be better. And their kids will be healthier. And society will be better with less poor people.
Yep. Jody just said it on Twitter this morning, what I say basically all the time. We've just got to make Manchin and Sinema irrelevant.
Yep.
We have got to get enough senators in.
Yeah. It gets more crucial. The 2024, no, 2022 midterms get more vital by the day.
Yep.
I mean,
Yep. So let's
because
talk.
if you've done a survey of some of the people running for Congress on the Republican side, woohoo, boy.
Yeah.
We got some beauties out there, let me tell you.
Yeah, and our friend Eric Bollard said, "This is astounding. The D.C. press has been absolutely obsessed with the midterms because Democrats might do poorly. Have you seen one report regarding how the GOP appearing to be pro-Putin might hurt the GOP in November?" We shall see. Like I was saying, Charlie, it is on the eve of the State of the Union, depressing Biden's approval ratings when I cannot think in my lifetime, in any of our lifetimes, a more successful first year in power, including through this Ukraine crisis.
Yeah, I think the guy and the people around him, have a very good grasp of their jobs, basically. And I know it's unspectacular, and I know it doesn't make for great TV or great, internet traffic, but they're simply doing the jobs they were appointed to.
Yeah, and doing them spectacularly well.
In the face of ridiculous obstruction.
Yep. Yep. Speaking of which, let's talk about the Supreme Court hearings. Our friend Dana Goldberg said, just to be clear, the GOP is saying nothing about Russian tanks rolling over civilian cars with humans in them for sport, but they are in arms over a black woman being nominated to the Supreme Court. They lost their souls in the pursuit of power and white supremacy. I mean, she is obviously beyond qualified, Judge.
Oh, she's spectacularly qualified just on life experience, let alone the fact
Right.
that, legal scholars, which I am not, consider her a brilliant legal scholar.
Yeah.
And, she was, Lindsey Graham voted for her before, but he won't do it now.
Now she's radical left, just
Right.
from 8 months ago when he voted for
Now
her.
she's like Angela Davis or somebody.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.